Welcome to Down Home Delicious. I'm Chef Suzanne. Today we're going to continue our road trip across the United States and make a stop in Chicago. One of the really neat things about American cuisine is it has influences from all over the world. We are a melting pot, and there's a lot of French and Italian influence in the cuisine that we eat. So I decided to make what I consider a comfort food, soup. I think that we think of chicken noodle soup to soothe ourselves when we don't feel well. Well, I'm going to make minestrone today for you. Minestrone is a classic Italian soup. Generally, it's made with whatever fresh vegetables you can get your hands on. So there's some simple things, some very specific things that go into minestrone that we will use, and we'll look at that later. But the main thing is that you're using fresh herbs and fresh vegetables, and right now they're in abundance. Farmers markets are open, and you can find a lot of fresh produce at your grocery store. So if you want to twist this recipe with your favorite vegetables, please do. So we are going to top our minestrone with pistou. That is a French word. It sounds like pea soup, but it's not. It's pistou. It's a French word for the French version of an Italian pesto. The difference being that it doesn't have pine nuts or Parmesan in it, just basil, olive oil, a little salt and pepper, and it's delicious, bright flavor. So I really think you'll enjoy it. So let's get started with our minestrone. I have a Dutch oven or a stock pot here. I've got it set at medium heat, and then I've got all my ingredients already prepped and ready to go. So we're just going to start with some olive oil, and we're going to directly add pancetta into the heated oil. Now, pancetta you could use bacon as a substitute. That would be perfectly fine. Pancetta gives it a nice smoky, meaty flavor. If you want to keep this soup vegetarian or vegan, you can eliminate the pancetta in this soup. You can also eliminate the Parmesan that we're going to add a little bit later. So after you get your pancetta simmering, then you're going to add most of the rest of your ingredients. So I'm adding diced onions, diced celery, and diced carrots. Now you'll notice that all of these diced pieces are the same size. Why would we want to use vegetables cut up and all the same size? Well, the reason is because we want them to cook at the same rate. So we don't want to do little tiny pieces of carrots and have them turn into mush and have big old chunks of onion that never get tender. So at this point, you're going to stir, simmer. That generally takes about 7 minutes. We're going to speed this up so we can see the finished product. So now I'm going to add garlic, fresh thyme. That's just a sprig of thyme. You don't have to dice it or mince it. A whole sprig of rosemary and 2 bay leaves. So get those mixed in. And at the end of this preparation, you'll want to remove the herbs after your soup is done, because we don't want to be eating a whole bay leaf or a whole sprig of rosemary. We're going to add our tomatoes. These are just whole peeled plum tomatoes. Everything's going and simmering right now. Now we're going to add, this is the rind of Parmesan. So most people probably throw their Parmesan rind out. It's the hard part of a wedge of Parmesan. It's not really something you want to eat, but it's got great flavor. So I save the rinds of cheese, other varieties of cheese as well, and then I'll put them in the freezer. And when I'm making a soup like minestrone or many other things, you can use the rind for a lot of great flavor. Just get that mixed in. And then we're going to add our water. Now, you could use vegetable stock if you like, but there's really no need, because you're getting a lot of great flavor from all of these fresh vegetables, as well as that Parmesan rind and your tomatoes and those herbs. So why pay for store-bought vegetable stock when you can just use water? Okay, then we're going to add our Swiss chard. Now, if you've never used Swiss chard in cooking, it's a really, really nice vegetable to use for a lot of dishes. It's also packed with nutrients, vitamins and minerals, in particular potassium, calcium, and magnesium. It's also great for reducing your blood pressure. And you'll notice that the stem is very, very thick. They don't get tender very easily, so you really want to get rid of the stem. You can just take your hand and tear along the stem down to the more tender part, and then just tear it off like that. And then you can just pull that chard apart into smaller pieces. And then the rest of the chard that I already did is just nicely chopped. So we'll add that to our soup. I like to use the rainbow chard, the rainbow being the color, because look at that great color. This is going to be such a beautiful dish when it all comes together. Packed with yummy vegetables and lots of great vitamins. Okay, then the rest of our ingredients. So I've got cannellini beans. Cannellini beans are simply white pinto beans. And then we're going to add our diced up green beans. Again, they're similarly sized dice as the items that I put in before. And then we're going to finish off with some fresh zucchini. Wonderful, nice colors. And then I'm going to add salt. You can do this to taste. If you are trying to watch your sodium intake, you can certainly reduce the amount in there. And then I'm going to add pepper. And then you're going to want to just bring this up to a simmer, get it to a nice little rolling simmer, and then you'll cover it and let it cook for at least 30 minutes to let the flavors meld and let the vegetables get tender. I would check it after 30 minutes, and then you can determine if you need to season it any further. And that's really all there is to your minestrone. So now we're going to make our pistou. This is going to be our nice little topping for our minestrone. Again, it's going to add some nice bright flavor and color to the recipe. All you need are a good bunch of fresh basil, and right now there's some really nice basil in the stores. Just add that to your food processor. Now, if you don't have a food processor, you can use a mortar and pestle for this. Mortar and pestles are pretty easy to find, less expensive option than a food processor certainly. And then we're going to add some garlic. And you can add more or less depending on your taste. I like more. And then we're going to add some salt, again to taste, and pepper. And you can certainly tweak the flavors and seasonings after you taste it, after you've created it. Then you're going to put the top on, and we're going to drizzle our olive oil. I'm going to get it started. So now we're going to drizzle, we're going to add our olive oil slowly to our pistou mix. So now we have our yummy, beautiful minestrone chock full of nutritional vitamins and vegetables. It's going to be delicious. It smells delicious. So you want to just spoon this up into your favorite dish. And there's our nice steaming minestrone. So now we're going to drizzle our minestrone with this lovely basil pistou. And that just gives it a lot of nice bright flavor. You can add as much as you would like. Then in keeping with the Italian soup, we are going to add a little cheese on top. Again, if you want to make this a vegan recipe, just omit the Parmesan. And there you go. Enjoy. So I hope you've enjoyed our cooking demonstration today about minestrone, a nice comfort food, but a very good nutritious one. I would serve this up with a nice loaf of crusty bread, whatever type you like. So thank you for joining us again today. We look forward to seeing you the next time. Thank you.